They're not furious because you left. They're furious because you woke up. That's what terrifies a narcissist most. A victim who starts thinking, a prey that's no longer obedient. Someone who once lived under their control, now staring back at them with empty, cold eyes. Eyes that no longer believe. You don't need to scream that you know who they are. You just need to stop reacting, stop submitting, stop compromising. And that silence, to a narcissist, is a declaration of war. Make no mistake, they know. They know the moment you see through them, the moment you realize they're not the victim, not the misunderstood soul, not the loving partner, but the manipulator behind the mask. A mask built on crocodile tears and words that once sounded like love but stung like poison. And in that very moment, the counterattack begins. You'll feel the silence shift into... You'll see the blame turn toward you. You'll see the look in their eyes, no longer deceitful, but hostile. Because in their world, anyone who sees the truth must be destroyed. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly what to do the moment you realize the truth, and they realize you know. So hit subscribe and stay with me until the end, because this isn't just emotional anymore. This is psychological survival. If you're dealing with a narcissist, you don't have the luxury of getting the next step wrong, and I'll walk you through the right one, step by step, breath by breath, silence by strategic silence. 1. Don't react on instinct, respond with strategy. Reaction is instinct. Response is power. When a narcissist realizes you've figured them out, they don't apologize. They don't own up. Instead, they trigger emotional chaos, fast, messy, overwhelming. Why? Because they don't need your love. They need your reaction. Narcissists feed off the emotional storms they create inside you. They crave your outrage, your heartbreak, your panic, your pleading. Every time you explain yourself, cry, yell, or chase clarity, you're powering their machine. They will provoke, they will guilt, they will gaslight, ghost, gossip, and guilt trip, all for one purpose: to drag you back into the game. Their game, where they always set the rules and you always lose. But not anymore. You've woken up, and you've seen behind the mask. And now it's time to stop playing by their script. The smartest move isn't to fight, it's to pull the plug. Withdraw your energy, emotionally disengage. No arguments, no defense, no desperate explanations. Just detachment, calm, intentional, powerful. Because when you stop reacting, they're forced to face what they fear most, the void inside them. Your silence, intentional silence, becomes your weapon. It's not weakness. It's a declaration. It says, I no longer respond to lies. I no longer exist in your false reality. I am done. You don't need to say you figured them out. You show it by not playing along. No chasing, no explaining, no proving your truth. Let them spiral in the chaos they built for you. Let them feel the weight of their collapsing illusion. Alone, and while they scramble for control, you rebuild with dignity, with clarity, with fierce, unshakable stillness. Remember this. When you stop reacting, you cut off their supply, and without supply, their power dies. Part 2. Don't expose them publicly, unless you're ready to pay the price. I get it. After everything you've endured, the lies, the manipulation, the betrayal, the mental games, you want to scream in their face. I know exactly who you are. You can't fool me anymore. But hear this. Exposing a narcissist doesn't reform them. It provokes them. They don't break down in guilt. They don't apologize. They don't wake up. They go to war, silent, calculated, and ruthless. When you publicly unmask them, whether to friends, family, or co-workers, you're stepping on the deepest wound they carry, their narcissistic injury, and you're triggering the most dangerous version of them, the one that will protect their fake identity at all costs. They will rewrite the story. They will label you the manipulator. They will gather allies. They will spread rumors. They will manufacture drama where they're the victim and you're the crazy one. Do you think you're revealing the truth? No, you've just walked into a theater they built with a script they wrote, and your role is already cast. So unless you have a well-fortified plan, unless you've got witnesses, proof, emotional support, and a spine made of steel, stay silent. Not because you're afraid, not because you're wise, because the real victory isn't exposing them, it's escaping their control. Let them live behind their mask. You walk out of their illusion, and that's the one thing they truly can't handle. Part 3. Don't try to explain yourself during the smear campaign. Believe me, when you leave, they won't let you go quietly. A narcissist never concedes. They won't accept that you walked away with your dignity, your peace, and your clarity intact. They can no longer control you, so the only thing left to control is how others see you. And that's when the smear campaign begins. They won't shout it from the rooftops. They don't need to. They manipulate perception with whispers, half-truths, twisted stories, and a carefully crafted victim narrative where you are the unstable aggressor and they are the one who tried everything. Sound familiar? Talking badly about them, but they used to be great. Then something just changed. I tried so hard to make it work, but they were too much. And the most dangerous part? You'll want to defend yourself. You'll want to set the record straight. You'll want to explain. But that is the trap, because the moment you engage, the moment you try to clear your name, you're playing exactly the role they wrote for you, the reactive one. You give them what they crave most, emotional control over you. They say one lie, you drop 10 paragraphs. The more you speak, the more they point and say, see, drama, unstable, out of control. The more you explain, the more you lose. Narcissists don't care about truth. They care about narrative and winning that narrative at any cost. So remember, you don't repair your reputation with words. You repair it by living in your truth, moving forward, and letting time expose everything. Those who truly believe in you won't need an explanation. Those who don't would never believe one. Dignified silence is the one reaction they can't spin, and your grounded, peaceful presence is the ultimate proof that they were lying all along. Part 4. Cut off all contact. If you leave the door cracked, they will kick it open. You figured them out. You found the strength to walk away. But if you don't shut every door, they will come back. And not to love you, but to drag you back into the emotional hell you fought so hard to escape. You think you can keep things cordial? That a quick reply won't hurt? That answering just this once is harmless? You're wrong. That's where the danger begins. A narcissist doesn't need much, just a crack. One answered message, one picked up call, one glance back. Leave the door cracked and they'll come through with a sledgehammer. They'll text you at 3 a.m. with things like, I miss our daughter. I still think about you. I just wanted to make sure you're okay. Sounds gentle, human, but it's not. It's calculated. They're not coming back because they miss you. They're coming back because they lost control. And they need to know they still have a hold on you. Reply, take care, and boom, you're back in the loop, back in confusion, back in emotional captivity. You don't owe them a reply. You don't owe them kindness. You don't owe them access to the door they once shattered. Block the number, block the socials, delete the emails. If you have to, change your number. This isn't petty, this is survival. You made it out, now stay out. Healing begins the moment you say, no more, not again, and you mean it. You can't heal while the poison still has a key to your bloodstream. You can't move on while toxicity can pin your phone at 3 a.m. Then they may call you cold. They may use your kids, memories, and old promises to reel you back in. But remember this, the person who broke you is not the one who will fix you. Cutting off contact is not the end. It's the beginning. So your freedom, your clarity, your peace. Part 5. Prepare financially and logistically before you leave. Leaving a narcissist isn't a normal breakup. It's not a calm conversation. It's not mutual closure. It's a psychological war. It's a silent escape. And if you walk out of that relationship without a plan, you'll risk running back. Out of desperation, out of fear, or worse, because they still control your money your safety, or your options. Let me say it clearly. Freedom needs to be planned before you say a word, before you pack a bag, before you breathe a hint of your exit. Start preparing like it's a rescue mission, because it is. Start with money. Without your own finances, you're vulnerable. They know this. They know you need money to survive, to feed your kids, to rent a place. And they'll use it as a leash. They'll pretend it's generosity, but really, it's bait to buy back your submission. Open your own bank account. Separate, secret, safe. Stash away whatever you can. $10, 0 cents, $20, 0 cents, $50, 0 cents a week. Build an escape cushion. You don't need a fortune. You need enough to not need them. Next, documents. Passport, IDs, birth certificates, driver's license, medical records, legal documents, lease agreements. Scan it all. Back it up. Send it to someone you trust. Because when it's time to leave, you won't have time to search. Then, support. Have at least one person who knows the truth. Someone who's not fooled by their charming mask. Someone you can call when the ground falls out from under you. Know where you'll go, who you'll call, who will hand you a spare key. And, if you don't have someone, find a shelter, a support center, a trauma-informed hotline. Don't do this alone. And finally, don't let them see it coming. Play the role. Stay normal. Smile. Let them believe they still have control, because the moment they sense you're planning to leave, they'll sabotage it. They'll love bomb, threaten, manipulate, destroy your strength before you even walk out the door. So stay quiet. Gather your power. When everything is in place, money, documents, safe place, emotional backup, then, and only then, you leave. And when you do, don't look back. They'll text, they'll cry, they'll rage, they'll tell the world you're the villain. Let them. You don't owe anyone a reason for saving your own life. Part 6. Temporarily cut ties with mutual friends between you and the narcissist. You think they are your friends. You think they'll stay neutral. You believe that outsiders won't pick sides, but that is one of the most dangerous illusions when you leave a narcissist. No one is truly neutral between truth and manipulation, and unfortunately, mutual friends, whether intentional or not, can become informants, flying monkeys, or passive participants in the narcissist's ongoing power play. You don't know what stories they've heard. You don't know what version of you has been planted in their mind. Narcissists are masters of manipulating through kindness, and your mutual friends might be their perfect audience. So what happens? Well, you reach out. You share your pain. You send a message hoping for support. But every word you say, even the innocent ones, can be twisted and weaponized against you. One misquoted sentence, one photo taken out of context, an emotion described with the wrong tone, until suddenly you're the unstable one in the story you didn't even get to write. So be bold enough to say goodbye temporarily to anyone still connected to the narcissist. Not out of bitterness, not out of hate, but because you need space wide enough to protect your peace and your clarity. You are rebuilding your life. You don't need whispers from group chats. You don't need second-hand updates. You need mental safety. And sometimes that means stepping away from familiar circles. Those who are truly your friends, they'll understand. They'll come back when the fog lifts. Those who remain in the gray zone, let them stay where they are. You don't need another wound while you're still stitching yourself back together. Cutting contact with mutual friends isn't an extreme measure. It's a necessary step to reclaim your voice, your privacy, and your right to peace. Part 7. Don't rush into a new relationship just because you feel lonely. I know you're lonely. I know the emptiness that follows a narcissistic relationship isn't like any other emptiness. It's not just the absence of a person. It's the collapse of an illusion, the shattering of something you once gave your whole heart to. It's the silence after chaos. It's the aching void where your self-worth used to be, and expecting to fill that silence with someone new, a new voice and fresh embrace. And in health? A clean slate. But the truth is, your heart hasn't healed yet, and a wounded heart doesn't know how to choose wisely. That a narcissist taught you to believe that your value comes from being wanted, chosen, seen, and now that they're gone, it feels like you've disappeared too. But be careful. This loneliness isn't a call for new love. It's a call to heal. If you don't understand yet why you were drawn to a manipulator, if you haven't faced the emotional wounds rooted deep in your childhood, if you're still hoping someone will come along to make you whole, then you're at risk of falling again, just in a different disguise. A narcissist isn't a face, it's an energy, and if you haven't healed, you're still vibrating on a frequency they will feel. You don't need new love right now. You need to learn to love yourself. In the loneliness, in the confusion, in the quiet nights when no one texts you, you need to become the person you once hoped someone else would be for you. Let yourself cry. Let yourself grieve. Let the past be mourned fully. Let the truth be spoken clearly. And let the wounds heal all the way down to the root. Only then will you be able to love again, with open eyes, a strong heart, and your self-respect intact. A real relationship won't rescue you from loneliness. It will walk beside a soul that has already learned to stand alone. So be patient with yourself, because love that's built from fear of being alone will only lead you back to the same place you just escaped. Part 8. Don't expect closure. A narcissist will never give you the ending you deserve. You've waited for that final message, that one apology, that moment of honesty, a proper conversation where you get to ask, why? And they finally admit the truth with remorse. You wanted an ending that felt clean, respectful, meaningful. You wanted closure. But here's the truth. A narcissist will never give you that. And if you keep waiting, not only are you wasting time, you're staying emotionally tethered to a game they're still playing, silently, from a distance. They won't apologize because they don't believe they did anything wrong. They won't explain because they don't think you deserve an explanation. They may disappear suddenly, or worse, keep the connection barely alive through just enough what-ifs, maybes, and if only you'd understand me just a little more. And while you're seeking closure, they're keeping the door cracked open, not so they can make things right, but so they can step back in whenever they please. Not to love you, but to control you. Closure doesn't come from them. Closure is something you create for yourself. You create closure when you accept that you may never get the answers you deserve. You create closure when you stop hoping they'll ever change. You create closure when you face this brutal truth. They never loved you. They only loved being loved by you. And the moment you stop loving them, they cease to exist as anything meaningful in your life. Don't waste another day waiting for a neatly wrapped ending. The narcissist isn't in the story with you. They're rewriting the script for themselves. And you're no longer the main character. So write your own ending by living forward. No more waiting. No more explaining. No more hoping. Just surviving, healing, walking away for real. True closure doesn't come from one last conversation. It comes from the final silence, the one you choose. Part 9. Your silence is the one thing that terrifies them most. You might think that to scare a narcissist, you have to stand up and fight. You might believe you need to confront them, expose them, call them out in front of everyone. You might think the only way to win is to make them feel what they made you feel. But no, the thing that terrifies a narcissist most is not your rage, it's your silence. Not silence out of fear, but silence born from awareness. The silence of someone who finally sees, the silence of someone who has stopped playing, the silence of someone who has stepped off their battlefield and taken their power with them. Because narcissists feed on your reactions. They thrive on your emotional chaos. They manipulate every outburst, every tear, every time you explain, argue, or beg. Your emotions were their energy source. Your pain made them feel powerful. So when you stop reacting, when there's no more yelling, no more explaining, no more chasing, they're left alone in the emptiness they've always tried to escape. Your silence says, I'm not confused anymore. I'm not controlled anymore. I don't need an apology. I don't need closure. I don't need you. And that realization, it's their greatest fear, because they no longer own your mind. They can no longer trigger you. They can no longer write the script you're supposed to act out. Your silence is the ending they can't rewrite. It's the one story they don't get to narrate. You're not staying quiet to punish them. You're staying quiet to protect your peace, the peace you bled for. You're staying quiet because you've realized that arguing with someone who lacks empathy is useless, that truth doesn't have to scream. It simply has to be lived by you, daily, in your stillness. Let them talk. Let them spin their stories. Let them convince whoever still wants to believe. You don't have to prove anything. Your peaceful presence is the loudest evidence that you've risen above it all. And that's something a narcissist can never fake and never steal. You don't need to win with words. You don't need to expose them or prove anything to anyone. You already won the moment you chose silence, stood up and walked away from the chaos. The narcissist will never give you the ending you hope for, but that's okay, because now you're writing your own story, a story with no manipulation, no pretending, no games, just you. Real, free and powerful in ways they'll never understand. And if you feel lonely, remember this: loneliness in truth is stronger than being surrounded by lies. Thank you for having the courage to listen. If this video spoke to you, make sure to subscribe and share it with someone who needs light in their darkest moments. You're not alone. You're healing, and this time, you're never going back.